Howdy, folks.
Howdy, folks.
In this episode of Wyatt Blair Talks Audio, howdy, internet world. Wyatt reporting to you. I thought I would make a video on Nashville Tuning, a very simple concept that's been around for probably 80 years. If you know or have heard of the sound of a 12-string guitar, this is emulating that, but on steroids. So, let me explain. Nashville Tuning is essentially taking one guitar, electric or acoustic, that is normal gauge strings, normal tuning, normal strung guitar, recording that guitar, and then on top of that, doubling it with a separate guitar that is all strung with high strings. So you're basically getting the sound of a 12-string guitar, but with two different bodies of guitars, and being able to mix and process the two guitars separately. So what you want to do with the more chimey top-end guitar can be different from the low, more bodied sounding, full-bodied sounding guitar. I will show you an example of what I mean. This is a normal 6-string guitar. It's tuned normally. So you would record a track with the 6-string guitar, and then you'd pull out the other guitar, totally different body, shape, but it's all high strings, so it sounds more like that. I'll explain it more in depth when we jump into Pro Tools. You can hear the examples, see what I'm talking about. Enough of me yapping, let's get into it.
Well, howdy.
What's up, y'all? This is the Pro Tools session where I'm going to kind of demonstrate the Nashville tuning approach. So, like I said in the intro, Nashville tuning is simply having one guitar that is strung with normal gauge strings, and then playing a second guitar that is strung with all high strings, and recording the two of those on top of each other, emulating the sound of a 12-string guitar. The only difference being you're playing them on two separate guitars. That way you're able to process the normal gauge guitar and the high gauge guitar. And really what that offers is more flexibility, more freedom, being able to manipulate the sound to your liking. You can use things like automation, chorusing, stereo widening, things like that to make the guitar sound otherworldly, truly otherworldly. So, let me show you what the normal gauge 6-string guitars sound like in this project I'm working on right now. Now I'm going to play it with the high-strung guitars so you can get a feeling for that. You see, it's quite a big difference. Let me play you... Whoa there, sorry about that. Let me play you the Nashville high-strung guitars on their own so you can get a feeling for that. But Wyatt, they sound a little out of tune. What are you doing, dude? Well, another tip I'll give you if you're going to experiment with this is to slightly detune the Nashville guitar, which I always consider the high-strung guitar. Slightly detuning that adds this really cool natural chorus effect, which is what you want. At least that's what I want when I'm grabbing towards, when I'm looking towards doing this trick. It's similar to when you double a vocal track and you hear that slight chorusing, that slight doubling effect because the two voices are just slightly out of tune. That is a really cool effect that's hard to get, in the box if you were to it's hard to emulate that. If you were to just do it naturally, nothing sounds better. So for a song like this, I purposely did that, and I want it to sound a little warbly and a little jangly. Not only is this a better way of tracking a 12-string like guitar, you can really use things like automation. For instance, taking that high-strung guitar and only popping them in the choruses or just on the bridge, or lowering the volume on the verses, bringing them up maybe even louder than the normal gauge guitars on the choruses. You can do all sorts of shit. You can throw stereo widening. You can throw a chorus or a flanger or a vibrato on just the upper register of the guitar. It's really limitless. So let me go back to what the two sound like together. And you can see here, I'm not doing much. This song isn't mixed. It's not even a completed song. It's still in pre-production, I guess. But I'm just rolling off low end and using a little bit of compression for now, a little bit of saturation. With the Nashville guitar, you can roll off a lot of low end because you're really using it for that shimmery top end. The other thing I will say is, you don't need an expensive guitar to do this. If you have any random guitar laying around, or you go to a thrift store and find a $20 beat up acoustic guitar, grab it, put high strings on it, and have it floating around in your creative space. Because there's so many times I will grab the high strung guitar and come up with an idea that I wasn't initially thinking of, just because the tone of it sparks some sort of inspiration. You can do the same thing with electric guitars as well. So if you have a beater electric guitar, or not, go get yourself the cheapest electric guitar you can find and just put high strings on it and have it floating around. It's a really cool trick. I think you will get a lot of enjoyment out of it if you've never heard of it. I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago when I heard of this trick. And ever since then, I've always had some form of a high-strung guitar in my writing space. So I guess that's it, guys. Go out there and make some sick-ass music. Send me some shit if you do this. I want to hear it. All right, guys. Later.